Hey friends, and welcome back to Cornerstone Youth Markham's YouTube channel. My name is Sarah, and today we are continuing on with our series called Lost and Found. In this 4-week series, we're going to explore a series of stories that Jesus once told about things that were lost and then got found again. Last week, we talked about a lot of reasons why we might lose things. So sometimes it's because we're careless, sometimes it's because we're really distracted, or there's another reason why things might get lost and stay lost. Maybe some things are just not worth the effort of their owner finding them. So how do you know something is really valuable?
All right guys, I'm gonna tell you the story about how I lost something that was so precious to me. You guys don't even know the value it had. Monetarily, there was already a big value, but emotionally, there was a huge value. So let me recount the sad story. So on my 16th birthday, I was super excited to go home after school and, hang out with my family. And so I remember my mom on the way home, she stopped at the bank. And so she took a long time until she finally came back. And I was like, okay, can we go now, please? Like, it's been like 40 minutes or something like that. And so we finally went home. And I went up the stairs and then I went to my room, and as I opened the door to my bedroom, I saw so many balloons. Like, they were all suspended, and it looked like 16 balloons in total filling my bedroom, and the strings of the balloons had pictures on them. Aww. And each balloon was attached to a gift. And suddenly I heard noises behind me, and my friends just like popped up. They had been hiding in my house, and I don't know how I didn't see them, but they popped up. And so my sister planned a surprise party, so my friends were there. And then I went through the presents in my bedroom, and as I picked my way through, I was like, oh, this is so cute, 16 different presents. And as I got to the last one, I opened it up, and it was a new phone. And it was like the nicest, like newest kind of phone, and it was like very expensive. Like I heard later, it was very expensive. And it meant a lot to me because number one, I needed a new phone, and number two, my parents had put their money into it, my sister had put her money into it, so it was really all of their hearts in one present for me. And I was so touched. And then later on, I had a pizza party with my friends. It was a fun time, okay? So it was my 16th birthday, and it meant a lot to me. And I think this happened maybe a few weeks after getting it as my present. My mom and I went to a Tim Hortons, and we sat down, had food, and then I got up to use the washroom. And so I went to use the washroom in Tim Hortons and then left, and then we left Tim Hortons and we just went home. And so when we got home, I realized, oh snap, I forgot my phone. I don't see it here, so it must be in the Tim Hortons washroom. So I go back to that Tim Hortons, and it was very close to us, so it really didn't take very long. There wasn't a huge span of time in between me leaving the Tim Hortons and me coming back to it. So I went back to the Tim Hortons washroom, and I open it, no phone. I go talk to all the employees at the Tim Hortons there, and they said they hadn't seen anyone have my phone, or no one had given my phone into them. There was no reported missing phone. So I was like, oh dang, someone stole my phone. And I remember checking that bathroom really thoroughly, and I gave them my number, so if anything turned up, they would call me. And I remember going back to that same Tim Hortons like days after and being like, hey, has anything turned up? Nothing turned up. And I remember in my mind, after I left the washroom, other people going in the washroom. So I know people saw it, but I guess they just didn't want to give it back. So I was heartbroken. Like, of course, I was heartbroken to not have a phone again. I've lost my phone a few times in my life. So I was heartbroken to not have a phone, but more so than that, the fact that my parents and my sister had planned this gift for me, they put their hearts and their money in that, and it was like laid out so nicely on the day of my 16th birthday. I was so upset. I think I cried. And I've never really been to that Tim Hortons since then because it makes me so sad. So yes, that was a gift that I lost that had so much value to me that is now gone. If the person who stole my phone is ever watching this, I forgive you, but just know you made a 16-year-old girl very sad. Okay, the end.
Whether or not something is valuable is really a matter of opinion. You and I can see the exact same item and think that they're worth totally different things, right? And talking about things and their value, it might make you think about how much do you really matter to other people and to God? Or you might be treating people as if they were disposable and not worth your time or attention. So here are the things that we're wondering, right? How valuable are we? And what determines our value? Is it something that we can calculate? In society, we assign value to ourselves and to others based on our possessions, like our money or the stuff that we have, our abilities, so maybe how good people are at sports or at music or at art, or even in school, right? And maybe you might look down on people who don't excel in the same ways that you do. Or our characteristics, so looking at someone's attractiveness, their popularity, their sense of humor or intelligence. And you might feel shame about yourself if you don't have those same things, or maybe you might miss out on some awesome friendships because you overlook people who don't have those things. We all have preferences, biases, and experiences that shape our perspective on what we think is valuable. So that's why it's actually important to think critically about what we value and what is valuable, because it impacts how we treat ourselves and how we treat others. So going back to that one chapter in the Bible that we've been studying, we're studying Luke 15, and we're studying the series of stories that Jesus told about things that were lost and then found. And each story, each parable, so not a historic event, but a story, tells a different truth. So we explored the first of these stories last week in our first video, and in that video we explained who Jesus was talking to and why. And if you need a little refresher, Jesus was talking to the Pharisees. Now, the Pharisees were religious leaders who were super focused on following each of the hundreds of Jewish laws. And now these laws were not bad, right? But the Pharisees took them too far and they became arrogant, self-righteous, dismissive of people who they believed were sinful. So the Pharisees often attacked Jesus because he spent a lot of time with people that they did not consider valuable, people they considered as sinners. And they were angry at the way Jesus cared for these people. So Jesus told this series of stories, these parables, to help the Pharisees understand how wrong they were about themselves, others, and God. So we're going to read from Luke 15, verses 8 to 10 together. The parable of the lost coin. Or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Doesn't she light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she calls her friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost coin." In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. The woman in the story had 10 coins and lost one. And you might be thinking, so what? She's got 9 others. Why does she care about this one coin? For this woman, one silver coin was worth a full day's work. So it was very valuable to her, and it would have had a huge impact on her if she had really lost it. So that explains what she did after she found her coin. She celebrated. And there's a common thread between this parable of this woman and her lost coin and also the lost sheep. Jesus says that there's a huge party in heaven anytime someone who was lost gets found by God. When someone meets Jesus for the very first time, heaven rejoices. And when someone who knows Jesus but wandered away finally comes back, heaven rejoices again then too. And these parables, of course, have a point. Jesus' point was that God values everyone, even the people that they overlooked, dismissed, and judged because the Pharisees didn't think that they were holy enough. Because the Pharisees were judgmental towards the people that they considered sinners, Jesus needed them to know that God deeply loved the people that they deemed unworthy, the people that didn't matter to them. And you and I need that reminder too. Like that woman with her lost coin, Jesus values you, and he also values the people that you struggle to value. So, how has this parable challenged you today? Do you need to let God find you? Maybe your next step today can be to tell God what you're turning away from so that you can follow Jesus more fully. Do you ever feel worthless? Do you think you've been calculating your value based on the wrong things? Maybe your next step today can be to ask God and the people you trust to help you see your value through Jesus' eyes. Do you treat others like they're worthless? Who have you been viewing or treating as though they're less valuable than they really are? Who do you dislike? Who have you been judging? Who have you been overlooking? And who have you labeled as a sinner? Today, do something that shows them and you that they truly are valuable. You haven't done anything to earn God's love, but you are loved. Now let that love change you and transform you so that you begin to value others as God values you. Like that woman and her lost coin, Jesus values you and everyone else so much more than you know. All right, friends, that brings us to the end of our video. Thank you so much for following along with Lost and Found. Please give this video a like if you liked it, and comment down below if you had a reaction to my story about my phone. So sad. Please subscribe to this channel because we upload weekly, so never miss an episode. Follow us on our Instagram at Cornerstone Youth Markham, where we upload a lot of polls, stories, and interact with you guys there. All right, friends, I will see you in the next one. Be blessed. Bye!